Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back. So thank you for watching. Thank you for watching that video clip. Um, it's in Spanish, so I'll say what I said in English. But first, I'll say what they didn't show on that news segment, and that is the broader context and what I'm talking about. So I'll let me build that whole context for you. My main thesis there was, look, here we are focused on the issue of prohibition, and that's great. And then I talked about all of the world's mega problems, and I'll include a link to that. And then I made the point that we cannot solve any of the world's mega problems without solving all of the world's mega problems holistically. And then that's when they show me speaking in Spanish there saying, and of all of these problems, the one which is ripest for global transformation is that of prohibition of cannabis specifically. Why? Because different from other problems which are going to cost huge amounts of money to solve, transforming prohibition is actually going to be a huge generator of cash, a huge generator of profit. Now, what do we do with that profit? That's a different story. But just, speaking in broad brushstrokes, that's what I said. And since, of course, a lot of that money goes to the government in the form of taxation, they've got a huge incentive to legalize, among many other really good reasons. There are so many good reasons to legalize, and really not a good argument against legalization. We'll put some links to that as well, if you want to follow up on those arguments and discussions. And in fact, that is actually a perfect sort of transition point from kind of my past involvement in cannabis to the present and future, starting with this very video. And what I'm talking about is the building, as we've mentioned previously, of the world's first compassionate industry. So first of all, before I talk about the world's first compassionate industry, let me first talk about the standard of certified compassionate. So the compassionate economy is what we're transforming the global economy into. And the compassionate economy will consist of certified compassionate companies, or CCC. Here are the three pillars. All profits go to permanently eradicating world hunger, and doing so holistically. I put plus here because once we've eradicated hunger, then surplus funds beyond those required to sustain the world in a state of hungerlessness will go to other programs, other platforms, other strategies for transforming other of the world's problems, but always with a holistic focus, which is sort of a contradiction in terms. And or a conundrum or a paradox or whatever, but it's really the essence of what we're doing. Now, the other two pillars are that the company be socially transformational, and in this case means revolutionary. Certainly not violent revolution, compassionate revolution, as we'll get into the details of, and that it be environmentally regenerative in everything that it does. Now, in the case of Sato hemp, with all profits going to eradicate hunger, that in and of itself is a revolutionary statement for a private company to make. And the environmentally regenerative aspect is built into it, given the very nature of hemp, and that we're making this lateral substitution, like I talked about at the very beginning, this lateral substitution from cotton clothing to hemp clothing. So Sato hemp just totally nails it, all the pillars of CCC. And so then generalizing away from CCC to focusing the implementation on the cannabis and hemp industry, we have come up with the organization to lead that, and that is the International Coalition of Compassionate Cannabis Organizations, or Iccco. So this coalition is there's two founding member companies. One is Sato Hemp. The other we'll talk about in a few minutes. But the idea is, now, first of all, we're using cannabis in its scientific name, which means that it spans both the cannabis plants that produce the cannabis flower or marijuana, but also cannabis plants which produce hemp fiber for hemp clothing, hemp food, the non-psychoactive uses. They're in the same species of plant. They're both cannabis scientifically, but of course they have very different uses. And so that's why we speak of the cannabis and hemp industry, just to be more explicit. But anyway, the name of the association is Iccco. And what a beautiful logo it is. So it has the Ciccc embedded within it, right in the middle of it, and in the heart of it, really. And so that's a very visual way of conveying the implementation of Ciccc in a specific industry. And then if you rotate the image 90 degrees, this logo, with this being the I being the feet at the bottom and the O being the head, it looks like a woman swaddling a baby. And since it's green and it's big, it's really, Mother Earth swaddling all of the planet, all of its species, ecosystems. And it's a really beautiful metaphor because that's really what Iccco is all about. It's about spearheading this transformation of the global economy into a compassionate economy, caring for all people and the planet. And Iccco is just the beginning of that. So part of the reason that we put it, that we expand, I mean, we could have just said, look, let's just focus on the hemp industry or the hemp sector, hemp segment of the cannabis and hemp industry. But we very intentionally decided to expand it to include all of cannabis and hemp, everything from the cannabis plant. And that is largely because of its inherent controversy, the fact that it's getting massive amounts of media coverage, the fact that ending prohibition is a really, really good thing to do for a lot of good reasons. And it's just a wonderful experiment in taking two huge world problems, using them as the catalyst for a holistic transformation of many more world problems in parallel, but with the holistic focus, like we've talked about elsewhere, on ending world hunger, but holistically. So, and we'll include some more links. Particularly, check out the press conference that former Mexican President Vicente Fox and I did in Seattle, where he makes an amazing case for ending prohibition. And several other folks do on that. It's a really great, it's pretty long, it's over an hour, but it's really good stuff. All right, on the next video, we'll talk about the first brand of cannabis, the first compassionate brand of cannabis. See you there, that is also co-founding Iccco. See you then.